Want to know how you can gain access to capital to jumpstart your journey to entrepreneurial success? For entrepreneurs who are just starting out or those who have been in business for years, Minority Business Access is your podcast. Welcome to our show, where we will guide you in avoiding the pitfalls and thriving in your chosen business. Now, onto the show with your host, Solomon Ali.
Hello, everyone. I just want to thank you and welcome you back to another episode of Minority Business Access. I am really excited to be here. And my team and I have went out and we spoke with Dave, and Dave is here with us, and he's going to tell you a little bit about himself. And we're going to ask some questions and things of that nature so you can get to know Dave. Dave,
Thanks for having me.
Can you tell us about yourself, Dave?
I shot the gun there. I was ready to tell you all about myself, and thank you, Solomon, for having me. I'm always excited to empower other people on how to make money, help people, and have fun. And I think that's what entrepreneurship is all about, is empowering others to empower others to make more money, to help more people, and to have more fun with their lives, to be happy. And my journey is one with that of entrepreneurship, my relationship with money. I grew up in a world of not enough. I had a single mom, 6 kids, and really had one objective in life. That was to make enough money to buy my mom a house and a car. My mom worked 2 jobs, packed my dinner in a paper bag, and she forced education upon us as a necessity and had sayings like the fetus wasn't fully developed till after graduate school, doctor, lawyer, or failure. And, that's not really the theme song of entrepreneurship. And as entrepreneurship really is about providing value, I still followed my mom's lead and ended up graduating law school, where I made a critical decision. Instead of being an oil and gas litigator and making 6 figures right out of law school, I decided to be an entrepreneur and work within the internet, selling legal research online. Even though my mom said the internet was a fad, I learned the first lesson of entrepreneurship. Just because somebody loves you doesn't mean they give you good advice. And I tell people all the time, you got to have the ability to be laughed at, scoffed at, made fun of, because eventually the people who love you most will applaud you. But you got to believe in yourself and find people who sit in a situation that you want to be in. The easiest way to get to where you want to be is to find someone that's already there, ask them for directions. I'm sure they'll be happy to give them to you. We're too afraid a lot of times to ask for those directions. Anyway, 9 months out of law school, the internet wasn't a fad in 1992. I was a millionaire and proceeded my first company. We sold it for $3.4 billion to Thomson Reuters. I went up to the Silicon Valley, found another superpower of entrepreneurship, raising money. If anyone...
Let me stop you, please. All right. Everyone wants to know, you're a millionaire at what age?
24.
24. 24. That is absolutely awesome. Awesome. And you did it
Dangerous.
by taking advantage of new technology at that time. Something that was brand new, disruptive to the industry. How did you know to go into that?
I did. I love that question because I just mitigated my risks. I had a saying, if I'm not going to invest in myself, what will I ever invest in? I think at a young age, we have a big advantage over me at 52 because I had nothing to lose. And so my backup, if things didn't work out with the internet, I could always be a lawyer. In fact, I took the bar to mitigate my risks. I passed the bar before I went to go work in the internet, just in case I sucked at it or it was a fad, I would go back and be a lawyer. And so I think it's really important. One of the advantages of wanting to make a lot of money, which I'm a big believer in, my journey has to do with that relationship with money because it evolved over all the years. One advantage I found is that if you want money, then you will keep your options open. You'll have a much wider view. My siblings all went to the Ivy Leagues. They're doctors and rabbis and lawyers, but they were very focused and closed-minded, well-trained people. But I was always looking for the better deal, who can pay me more money or what deal I can make more money in. And I learned to keep my options open. And I think an open mind is a great asset to an entrepreneur, being able to see things and to dream things that nobody else has seen or dreamed before. And most importantly, not only to believe in yourself, but invest in yourself. I don't believe in the word sacrifice. I always said people, I literally, they say you sacrifice so much to get there. I said, no, I didn't. I invested in myself.
Wow. So how were you certain? How did you have the confidence and the surety, Dave, that that was the right thing to be doing?
I work through the math, and I've always been a math person, and I love to figure out, and I did it through productivity. I saw what other people were doing in the space. I take myself even through the pandemic, and I tell people I took my capabilities and saw how they were synergistic or supplementary to what was doing well, what was stable, and what I thought would be doing well. And covering all my bases within the context of the internet, I saw that my skill set, especially my salesmanship, would fit really well as long as I utilize those skills and capabilities with a synergistic or supplementary entity that I thought would be doing well in the future, which was research online. We had the very first natural language search engine, all types of different things. I was more interested than interesting, which is one of my rules, to find out where I could make that money. But in the end, it was math that, making six figures doing this. I can double the amount of productivity. I can double. I called it the power of 64. I said, if these guys are doing it 8 hours a day, then I'm going to do it 16 hours. And I'm going to be better at it. I'm going to get more efficient at it so that I get 32 hours of productivity by being twice as efficient. And I'm going to practice and video myself and do it in the mirror until I'm twice as statistically successful. And I'm going to do it 7 days a week. So I had 64 hours of productivity, 7 days a week. That's 56 days of productivity every week compared to a person getting 5 days, over 11 times. So when I made my first $1 million 9 months out of law school, and they were giving me awards and accolades and big commissions and bonuses, I was laughing inside myself because I wasn't even to comp plan. I just beat them with math. I wasn't even making $100,000 a year. I was just working 56 days a week.
Wow. That is amazing. That's one of the things that I share with my people. When I got out of the military, I started a maintenance company, and literally I couldn't find a job. This was in the early 80s. Could not find a job anywhere because the country was going through a recession. And turned around, started this maintenance company. 6 months later, we were doing about $4.5 million. And everyone was like, how is that possible? And I was like, oh no, I guess I got lucky. But I did similar to what you did. I was working 15, 16 hours a day, and I always had on a suit and tie because I was like, look, that's what they expect. That's my uniform. So, wow, I find that really amazing. Now, you went on to actually become a sports agent.
Yep, I keeping my options open always. I ran the world's first smartphone division at Samsung and Microsoft. We had a Windows C device in 1999 that was the world's first smartphone. I'm so old, and they called those things convergence devices because they weren't very smart. But I became a Silicon Valley staple. Making a ton of money, meeting Lee Steinberg, the most famous sports agent of all time. They made the movie Jerry Maguire about Lee. And I ended up being the CEO of the most notable sports agency in the world, where I met my business partner and my mentor, Warren Moon, Hall of Fame quarterback, first actually Black quarterback in the NFL Hall of Fame and Canadian Hall of Fame. An incredible entrepreneur. And Warren and I have partnered into Sports One marketing after I was at Lee Steinberg for the last 11 years before I started building my own brand to do movies, TV, podcasts, books, all the speaking and coaching that I do in the entrepreneur space and the inspirational entrepreneurial space to empower more people. But, the sports agency business is a very, very interesting business and teaching me the spheres of influence, and also, once again, changing my relationship to money. You can see behind me, I have a sign that says, money does not buy happiness. I believed it did until I realized that money's still important to me, but it doesn't buy happiness, but it allows you to shop. And what I learned to do was shop for the right thing. See, I was born in that world of not enough. I was a victim. I always said, why me? Why do they have that? Why can't I have? And then I became a millionaire and I thought I made it. And I lived in a world of for me, right? I bought things I didn't need. If I wasn't happy, I'd buy different things I didn't need. If I wasn't happy, I'd buy things to impress people. I'd even buy things to impress people, Solomon, that I didn't even like. I was lost. And what I realized is I need to shop for the right thing. So I built community centers in Kenya. I have in the Chief Chancellor Junior Achievement University, to provide diversity and equality to all entrepreneurs. I truly believe entrepreneurs will not only and have always save this world, but they will expand and expound what this world is like. And we could see from people like you, the entrepreneurs are what make this world and provide opportunities for so many other people. And that's been my mission over the last 15 years, to empower others with this dynamic ability to make money, help people, and have fun.
Okay, so Dan, can you tell us what type of deals you're working on now? What are you doing today? What are you excited about?
Yeah, today we're no, number one thing I do today is I have been doing free trainings for over 20 years. So every Friday, and now with the pandemic, I have over 20,000 people registered. I have the top entrepreneur podcast called The Playbook, where it's replayed and featured on Spotify. The Playbook's featured on Entrepreneur Magazine. It's featured on every platform. I have a new TV show actually launching tomorrow, January 8th, on Bloomberg Television called 2-Minute Drill, which is $50,000 of cash and prizes every episode to a pitch competition. I had another show called Elevator Pitch with Entrepreneur for 6 seasons. It's still there. But the problem with Shark Tank and Dragon's Den and Elevator Pitch is it's kind of a funding facade. Anyone that's ever raised money, when you watch those TV shows, that's not how money is really raised. But that's how pitches go. And so I decided to do a show with the founder of LinkedIn, the founder of Uber, as judges with me and some great other people joining me to provide entrepreneurs some extra income and advice on how to pitch.
And so on the show, you're going to, if the winner's going to get $50,000.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to try out, season 2 will be in June. You can just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. We'd love to have as many people as we can try out for the show and enjoy what we do and promote your company.
Okay, that sounds really exciting. So how would they try out, Dave?
So I have a dmeltzer.com/pitch. You can go to my Instagram at David Meltzer, but just go ahead and there's an application process. We send a little video in. We prejudge you, and then we pick finalists to come on, and then we film in March, late March, and it will air on Amazon Prime Video and Bloomberg TV in June. Season 1 is launching tomorrow. 12 episodes already in the can, already ready and distributing through Amazon and Bloomberg TV.
Okay, awesome. Now, Dave, I lost back in 2007, 180 million. Okay. And I understand that you had a similar experience where you lost quite a bit of money.
Yeah, I lost over 100 million in 2008, learning that valuable. Yeah.
So we lost money at the same time.
Yeah, a lot of people lost money at that time. And it was the best thing that's ever happened to me because I learned that life is about lessons, and nothing brought more confidence in me than having to start over and realizing that, my desire that I must be what I can be, and my skills, my knowledge, combined with that desire, had always taken me to the next level. I call it the empty mile. Most people walk in, it's empty when you're doing what you and I do. This power of 64. That there was nothing that was going to stop me from rekindling my light, but learning the lessons of how I ended up losing everything. And so I created a new philosophy. Instead of living in the world of for me, where I was buying things I didn't need to impress people I didn't like, I moved to a different world where I blended the currency of money, the object of energy I put into the flow to get what I want, with a newfound currency, one that everybody, and I think you believe in as well, is called faith. Yes. And so I started living in a new world of more than enough, where things don't happen to me or for me, but they happen through me for others. And that I realized that I could climb any mountain, I could oversell it, back end sell it, lie it, cheat it, manipulate it, dig under it. But the true power that I had was I didn't have to worry about the mountain, because the man or the thing that created the mountain is always with me, through me.
Wow.
That
Can you say that again? Because I want anyone that's paying attention right now, Minority Business Access, to hear what you just said, because that's everything.
It is. And I'll repeat it again in a way that, you should be happy where you're at. Exactly. You're at the right place at the perfect time. And you got to do everything like Solomon and I had, to angle to what you want. But when you have faith that you're going to end up somewhere better, because the mountains in front of you are made. They were created by what's inside of you that goes through you. And once you realize what walks with you and through you for others, there's nothing that you cannot achieve. And there's nothing that you cannot believe. And there's no one that you cannot empower or impact. And I have a very simple statement. I had gone from the world of just enough for me to this abundant world of more than enough of everything for everyone. And in simply understanding that things come through me, not to me or for me, and that I was going to give my life away. That doesn't mean I don't receive. In fact, I teach people to receive. I teach them to make money. But I have a saying that I cannot give what I don't have. I've never been poor enough to help anyone, but I certainly have been rich enough to help a lot of people. And I'm going to make a lot of money to help a lot of people and change this world for the better by being kind to my future self, by doing good deeds.
Wow, that is so amazing. One of the things after I had lost everything, I was trying to figure out what to do. And my mother called me and she said, give your talents away, be of service to other people. And I started doing that. And then all of a sudden I made way more money. I mean, my first year coming back, I made almost $1 million. And I was like, wow, wasn't expecting that. And then, for what I lost, I made almost 5, 6 times that right now today. And I'm like, I'm helping people. It's not about, before it was about me earning a living, doing a good business. And when you decide to start helping people, being of service, solving someone else's problem, it just seems to make a huge difference. And I think that's what I've been trying to share with people. It's not about yourself. It's about going out, being of service like you've been, helping other people, doing that which they can't do for themselves or don't know to do or didn't have enough confidence in themselves to sit back and take that first step. And I'm hoping that people who are listening to you right now today get enough confidence and inspiration from you to take the next step, to go on your show. And can you please tell them the show in case they miss it so that they can go try out and try to get this $50,000?
Yeah, it's 2-Minute Drill is the name of the show. You can either email me, david@dmeltzer.com or dmeltzer.com/pitch, or just Google 2-Minute Drill. It'll come up. It's on Bloomberg TV. It's on Amazon. So even if you don't win the $50,000 of cash and prizes, the exposure that you get with the 2 huge networks and the credibility that you have to explain what you're doing. We've had many companies already just by trying out get funding, had Launch Boom involved, a variety of other partners and interest was generated just by trying out, let alone being on the show. And it hasn't even aired yet. We have 12 episodes that'll be airing tomorrow. First one will air tomorrow. And then in June, we'll have season 2. So please try out. And if you don't want to try out, come to my trainings for free. I teach everything from pitching to scaling a business to how to sell, a 5 to Thrive system to ultimate ego training, all types of things that Solomon and I have learned through our journey, like you said, on how to give away our lives. We come from nowhere. We're now here. I promise you we're going to end up nowhere again. We're here to give our lives away. And the more you give, I know during the pandemic, a lot of people are scared. They're angry, they're upset, they're anxious or depressed or even suicidal. The only cure that I know to that is go do something good for someone else. And I promise you, you'll feel better.
Okay. We just came out of 2020 and it was a tough year for everyone. How was business for you?
Well, business quadrupled for me. And I always say, lean in. The cream rises to the top. When the guy who's shining your shoes is giving you stock tips, it's time to sell your stock. I think, for me, I always look within. I always say you cannot find outside of you what you can find inside of you. So when the pandemic hit, I said to myself, what are my skills? What are my capabilities, my knowledge of who and what, and how are they aligned with? How are they synergistic, supplementary to what's doing well now? Because there's a third of the things that are doing really well. And then I looked to see what was stable, and I looked to the stock market to find a lot of the industries, careers, a lot of the different companies that were doing well or were stable, because it was easy to tell, what stocks haven't moved in 3 years or what stocks were on fire and where it was going. And then I also take a couple lottery tickets during this time. As you know, you started your first business in a recession.
Yes.
More great businesses are started in a recession or depression because the cream rises to the top. The cream says, you know what, if I can't find a good job, I'm going to make a business for myself, and I'm willing to do the three things that are necessary to do that. And one of those things is just plain work, right? We can beat people with math. And I have a mathematical equation of luck for everybody, because I know you and I both, we thought we were lucky. People have called us lucky both times around, when we made it the first time and we made it the second time. And I tell people, well, in my life, there's a mathematical equation of luck, and it goes like this: what you pay attention to and what you give intention to. Attention plus intention, what you think, say, do, believe, your personality traits, characteristics, obsessions, and addictions. Attention plus intention equals coincidence. And those are the coincidences that you want. And if you vote for what you want in your life, too many people vote for what other people want. Too many people vote for what's missing. Too many people vote for what they don't want. And then they're surprised when they get what other people want from you and resent them. They get what's missing in their life and they resent themselves, or they get what they don't want and they think they're unlucky. None are true. Just vote for what you want. Remember, what you pay attention to and give intention to will equal those coincidences, the mathematical equation of luck.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, Dave, to be more specific, you had a really good year. I had a banner year as well. I helped 15 companies.
Not surprised.
It was exciting. But what did you invest in?
So, for me, number one, I invested back into myself, my brand. So the biggest investment that I made was I saw that there's a huge opportunity to invest in my brand, to build a community that I could assist, empower, help, and end up getting opportunities. And so by doing so, my podcast, The Playbook, became the top in the world in some countries, and obviously the top here in America in many categories. My TV shows all exploded. My coaching business went out of the roof with requests and demands for people to help me. So investing in myself and my brand was the biggest investment. I also did some interesting real estate moves. I invested by colleges, knowing that kids could not live in sororities and live in groups. So bought a few income properties that I thought would do well because interest rates were so low. I sold an office building because I felt like that was going to move in a different direction as well. And so I made some other moves. I do a lot of investing in this respect, and it's an entrepreneurial perspective. I have found that if you're entrepreneurial, guys like you and I, that we can double the amount of money we make if we pay attention to making money. What happens to guys is we start paying attention to the wrong things. So I do a lot of conservative investing into annuities and IULs, things that I don't have to pay attention to, but they're guaranteed at minimum to make 2%. Because even if my investment only makes 2%, my energy, time, and emotion spent making money will double or triple the amount of money I make. I don't care what percentage I'm making on the money I used to have, right? I just don't want to lose. I just don't want to lose it.
There you go. I'm with you on that one. Now, you have some very interesting athletes that you've worked with. You mentioned one, Warren Moon. What are some of the other athletes you worked with, and what is the common thread that all of them had?
I have worked with the entire Pro Football Hall of Fame, the Clemente family. I have worked with Sabathia Ramirez, boxers, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield. You name it, we have the biggest names in sports, and I still work with them in a variety of capacities. The coolest thing is the number one common denominator is the same common denominator I see in the billionaires, millionaires, and entrepreneurs. The McCourts of the world, the Sidney Franks of the world, the Arthur Blanks of the world. These amazing entrepreneurs. I'll tell you what it is, and it's really simple. The common denominator is they all have the desire that they must be what they can be. Wow. Just like you. Wow. They must be what there's something inside of them. It's not the money. It's not the profession. It's not the industry. It is that they are inspired people, that they live through themselves. They must be their pursuit. And here's the definition I give to it. They all enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of their own potential, what they can be. Yes. That's the common denominator, no doubt about it.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you mentioned Holyfield. I used to live down the street in Fayetteville, Georgia.
Yeah.
Holyfield. And, you know, when I had lost everything, I was living in an 18,000 square foot home. And then I couldn't pay the utility bill that was $300 and something a month. And I was like, it was one of the most embarrassing things in my life. But then when I made it all back, well, before I made it all back, what I knew was this. I knew the secrets of making it. I knew what it was going to take to get back. I didn't believe that I could, but my attorneys did, and my wife did at the time. And I was like, oh, okay. And then now they sit back and they're like, we told you.
Yeah.
No, it's like you said, hey, I'm making sure I don't lose any money. So I enjoy investing and working with other people. But Dave, it has been a total honor to have you on Minority Business Access. And so people can reach out to you. How would you want them to reach out to you?
The best way is just directly on email. I answer them all myself. It's david@dmeltzer.com. David@dmeltzer.com. If not, just Google David Meltzer, every other platform, David Meltzer, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, David Meltzer. But I prefer people to reach out directly. I'll answer you myself. David@dmeltzer. One more thing. I'm happy to give my books for free. You can see them behind me. I have some best-selling books that I've done to help you. I will sign them. I will pay for shipping. It's not, one of those, hey, get my book for free, pay $9.99 to ship. I will pay for everything. But if you want my book, go ahead, email me as well. I'd love to send it out to help you.
You just said that. Now, don't you have another book coming out?
I just came out with Game Time Decision Making. I got a mentee mentor book coming out in 2021. It'll be my 5th book. And I've had Compassionate Capitalism, Connected to Goodness, Creating the Life You Love with Jack Canfield, the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. And that book behind me came out with McGraw-Hill, Game Time Decision Making.
Yes, I met Jack last year, a little over a year ago in Santa Barbara.
Yep.
No, Burbank.
That's where he lived.
Burbank.
Oh, in Burbank, West.
He was at a conference there in Burbank. And so we got to chat, sit down and eat, met his wife, and we had a beautiful time. Well,
good.
Since you said your books, I got a book coming out, and I tell everyone it's a must read, especially if you want to navigate the minefields. They won't let me tell the name of it. I don't know why. You know what, Dave, thank you so very much for coming on Minority Business Access. I know everyone who's heard your voice today received a lot of information that'll be able to help and inspire them in some kind of way.
Thank you for the opportunity to empower others. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Anytime you need me, just reach out. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Dave.
You've reached the end of another episode of the Minority Business Access Podcast. Connect with us at solomonrcali.info to leave a review and access more resources. We hope you enjoyed this show and found great value. See you at the next episode.